I was concerned about her well-being because, you know, I was in the military. It took a lot of worry off of me because I at least knew. Three, two, one.
Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day.
Yes, welcome back to our channel. It's Black Man, Filipino Wife. My name is Jonathan.
I am Galen.
And today we just wanted to share a video with you. This video is going to really be more about my wife and adjusting to America. So we just wanted to cover 5 things that really shocked my wife when she first arrived to the US. And hey guys, you know, if you think about it, when you first bring your fiance to America, that's a real critical time for them, because that's a time that they will be very homesick and really missing their family, new world, and you know, you really want to help them along so that they don't get into depression, basically, when they first come over to United States. So, baby, just give me one thing. Just tell me one of the things. They don't have to be in particular order, that just shocked you when you first moved to United States.
I thought all the trees around me are dead.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
I asked him, why can't they just cut all the trees and plant another one?
Yes,
I
yes,
hated those trees.
yes. Exactly. You know, I remember that because when my wife first came, she came towards the end of the summer, and when it was the end of the summer, the leaves start falling, and we're around just like now. You see, it's the end of spring, and the trees, basically, there's no leaves on them. And we was at Burns Park, which we like to be at the parks. We like to fish, we like to hike, travel, and then it was just like no leaf on most of the trees here in Arkansas. And she asked me one time, why don't they just cut down all those dead trees so that the new trees can grow? And I kind of had to explain to her that no, they kind of like in a hibernation state. They you know, the leaves come spring, the leaves and everything will grow back because we have all the seasons here, and you will see different things. But if you see now the way the trees are, you think you kind of living in the area where everything's just dead, you know, around us. And really at that time when we was hanging out at, you didn't see a lot of, you know, what you call vegetation at that time of year. What's a second thing that kind of shocked you when you first moved to America?
People surround me thought I was Mexican. They keep asking me, do you speak Spanish? Like, si habla español? Especially in my shave eyes business. When they ask me, I always just said I can understand a little, and then sometimes if I couldn't, I have to use Google Translation, so we'll understand better.
To help them out. Okay.
Even Americans would ask me, do you speak Spanish?
Yes. You know, and it's kind of funny because I started messing with her because it happened so often. I started messing with her, and I would ask some of her Filipino friends, and she has a couple of Filipino friends that say she gets mistaken for Mexicans all the time. And the thing is, it's because, you know, if they look alike in a lot of areas when you have a lot of Mexican population. You know, my brothers and sisters south of this border, we have a lot of them around in this area in Arkansas. So, you know, it's funny because somebody will walk up to her, and this happened often, you know, I mean like a couple of times a month, asking her if she speaks Spanish so she can help them translate. So yeah, I thought that was a funny thing also. What else? What's another thing?
Where are the Filipinos? I don't see any Filipinos around here.
You know, and that's funny because there's a lot of Filipinos in our area. When my wife first moved here, I knew, you know, we have the Little Rock Air Force Base, which actually is located in Jacksonville, Arkansas, but it's called Little Rock Air Force Base. And the Walmart that's next to them, the Walmart Supercenter, it's a lot of Filipinos that works there. At first, I didn't know it was that many Filipinos that worked there because myself too, I just didn't know a lot of Filipinos. But as we started getting out and trying to meet people, I think that was one of the most important things, because my wife then could have some of her friends that she could meet with, and they would have these potlucks once a week, eating Filipino food, sharing Filipino dishes, and speaking basically Tagalog, Visayan, or different languages that they speak in different dialects in the Philippines, which really helped her out with kind of feeling at home. You know, kind of what would you recommend a Filipino moving to America do in order to help her, you know, adjust and find other Filipinos in her area?
So before you come to America, or yeah, you have to use the internet. You have to search that place that you're going, the state where you're gonna go. So you have to search where are the Filipino, mostly Filipino. Especially you have the PhilAm group. It is really a big help. They were really a big help because they're having all. Most of the time they have parties. You won't get homesick.
You know, yeah, you know, PhilAm is a good one. I didn't know about PhilAm until, which is really stands for Filipino Americans, until we came to know a lot of Filipinos, and then we actually found that website, and they started talking about it, and they have gatherings during the holidays and time that your Filipina, she may be here, your fiancé just getting to America, and then during those holidays she may really become homesick, where there's groups out there that would definitely welcome her in as Filipinos to help her, because they understand, because they've been through the same thing. What else? What's another thing?
I thought when I came here, you know, back in the Philippines, I used a lot of noise. Like early in the morning, you already knew that because people surround you making noise, especially the kids. But here, seems like I was living in a cemetery, because it's really, you don't hear any noise. You just know that it is already morning when you look at the clock, and when the sun shine through your window, through your room window. It's so peaceful, but kind of you were looking for some noise.
It's kind of, you know, when I went to the Philippines, you just heard roosters everywhere. You knew it was morning time. Them roosters was, oh man, they were, you know, sometimes it'd be 3-4 o'clock in the morning, the roosters out there making all that noise. And in the Philippines, when we stay in the area, because we stayed in the area where you call the province, where the children are at, we didn't stay in these tourist area. We stayed with the people of the Philippines. We didn't go where it was a lot of groups of Americans, hotels, different things of that nature. We stayed in the municipality, barangay. You know, we was right around the corner from elementary school. School's out, but that just tells you how many kids was in that area. And the thing is, you know, when we come to she came to America. At that time, we was living in this house in this neighborhood. You know, the school bus picks up the kids. Everybody, you know, so many people in Arkansas have cars. They drive. So you don't hear that noise. If you hear noise outside, it's normally commotion or something's going on. but you don't, and it is quiet. And I kind of, told her, yeah, you'll look out the window and you don't see that many people outside going by, especially when the children was in school. You know how a lot of American neighborhoods are, in the South. You don't have a whole bunch of people just walking by your house or coming down your street unless they really have some type of business to be in that area. So that was a big thing that I noticed also, because when we went to the Philippines and we stayed for so long, I get up, and I'm one of those type of people that I wake up with the sun. I wake up, I look out the window, there's kids already out there playing. And then you got 20, 30 kids playing in this area down here because school's out right now. But then even when school was out, the younger ones was home. And then on the weekend, you have so many children that's out there playing. What else? Did you have anything? Because I have one thing that we may not thought of or put on the list, but did you have anything that kind of shocked you as far as the culture difference or some adjustments you had to make?
Shocks me, their food.
Oh, the food?
The rice,
yeah.
It's hard. So I was like, I need an Asian rice. I need a Filipino rice. Anything, or it's not just in the Filipino, but as long as it is an Asian rice. So we have to go to the Asian market to grab my rice. Not just grab a small bag, but a sack of rice that lasts me a couple of months. And then, especially the fish. Their fish here are, what do you call this?
We have mostly fresh water in Arkansas.
Yeah, fresh water. And you know me, I grew up in the Philippines where 100% fish that I eat is from the sea. So I was looking for those kind of fish because the taste is different from their fish here taste different from the fish that you can find in the sea. Yeah.
It's it being Arkansas, and people know in America, we have a lot of farm-raised fish. Farm-raised fish from China, farm-raised fish from all these other areas. Of course, in the Philippines, it was fresh salt water.
And I need to add, Filipino, we love dried fish. Salted fish, anything that is fish from the sea.
Yes. The thing, before I forget, on the rice, I had to find out where like the Asian stores or the Indian stores were in our area. Take my wife to those stores. Even a lot of the stores where like the Mexican grocery stores, so that my wife can get the things that was close to what she was eating. The rice is not like our rice in the grocery stores. These are 25 pounds, 50 pounds of bags of rice. That's why they call it a sack of rice. When in the Philippines, they buy 100 pounds, bags of rice. I'm like, rice is rice 3 times a day.
When you see a sack of rice, it's not just a sack of small rice, but it's like a 50 kilos bag of rice.
Right. So I mean, she's really talking a lot of rice. Did you have any other thing you wanted to?
I'm still thinking.
Okay.
But there's a lot.
Okay.
You can see.
I can say, I know, and it is a lot. That's why sometimes it's kind of hard to forget. But when my wife first came, I was concerned about her well-being because I was in the military. I was stationed at Camp Hovey, Korea. This little area that you couldn't leave outside the gate. So that homesick and finding different things to do, it's serious. But there when we was on Camp Hovey, we had soldiers, even though they was around other Americans, who went depressed. They actually was medically depressed. So that's why it was a big thing to try to do what you can to help your fiancé adapt to America as smooth as possible. One of the things that I did was, with my cable network at the time, they had a Filipino packet. which gave you like I believe it was 5 channels. Remember, it was GMA.
ABS-CBN.
Which one?
ABS-CBN.
ABA 7.
ABS-CBN.
Okay, okay, and it was also I think Star, but it was a couple of them, and it was like a Filipino movie channel. I think it was like Pinoy Box Office. That's it. Pinoy Box Office, that showed a lot of the 1980 great comedies. So I actually ordered that extra packet, which it was not a lot cheaper than getting like CNN, HBO, and some of those other things. I actually ordered that package so that my wife would be able to have those Filipino channels, so that would help her when she was home by herself and I was at work, feel a lot more comfortable. And it took a lot of worry off of me, because I at least knew she had the food that she liked to eat, and she was able to watch some of the TV stations she wanted to watch. So, anything else?
I think that's it.
And there's one more thing. I know we talked about that these were some things that kind of shocked my wife a little different, but there's one that we kind of wanted to mention as a bonus, that, hey, we live in Arkansas. And I was trying to warn her that we have winter here in Arkansas. Yeah, it's over 100 degrees now, but it's gonna drop down to freezing and below freezing. So before it was time for the season to change, I kept telling my wife, hey, you're going to have to get some socks, you're going to have to get some shoes, we're going to have to get you some cold weather boots, so if we have another snowy season this year, we're going to have to get you a couple of jackets and then coats. Well, you think, oh, I'm okay, the weather's fine, I'm okay.
I have a jacket, but I just didn't really feel like wearing that at that time, because I thought it's not gonna be that super cold.
Yeah, and then it was and I remember because it was a smaller jacket, and you were wearing a couple of, I think you may have had a couple of long sleeves also, but in Arkansas, when the weather changes, and let's go from fall to winter, it can be 80 degrees outside, and then in a couple of days it's in the 70s. Well, then it could be 2 days in the 70s, all of a sudden it dropped down to 52 degrees, and that's the high for the day, let alone how low it's going to go down on nights. So we can have temperature swings of like 15 to 20 degrees, overnight in that 24-hour period. And so that in itself just helping her understand, hey, you're going to have to get some clothes. When my wife, she was like, I'm okay, I have these clothes. Well, when that temperature dropped and her little toes started freezing, it was time to go get some shoes then. So
because before I used to hot weather, so I really don't like my feet being covered. I don't like wearing socks, but when I was in college, I do that. I wear those shoes every day, but since after that I don't like wearing shoes. I like only flip-flops, and I don't like wearing jackets. So I just wear a shirt. So here, when I came here, it's really different, so I kind of used to it now. So even if it's super cold outside, so I can wear sleeveless outside even.
Be sleeveless?
Yeah, sleeveless.
Yeah, be sleeveless.
And then some Filipinos that I met would say, oh, are you not cold? Why are you still wearing shorts? I said, oh, it kind of felt good. So that's how I adjusted all the weather, the temperature here.
Yeah, it'll be funny. We'll see a Filipino that's only been here for a couple of years, and she just coming that year, and the temperature be like 75 degrees outside, that's where it's about today. And the Filipino will have on like this big coat, and you're like, you got on that big coat now, you're not going to be able to put on something too much bigger than that when that temperature get down into the 40s. So, but there, that is a real funny part where you just see how people start adjusting to this cold. But we know also in America, wintertime put a lot of Americans in depression because they're not able to get outside, they're not able to enjoy the weather, they're not able to do those things that they used to. So please keep that in mind, because your Filipino fiancé who's just coming over, she's from this warm tropical area. As soon as that weather start turning different, it's going to be a shock to her body. At first. So just keep something like that in mind to help her kind of adapt to, just the way it's totally different here in America on a lot of things, especially the weather.
Nothing.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we thank everybody for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.